Hey, friends, welcome on this holiday. It is President's Day, and that means we get to celebrate the great men and women who used to run this country, and by men and women, I mean men. Or at least that's what we're supposed to do, but let's be honest, folks, some of our leaders make it tough to want to celebrate them. From George Washington to Joe Biden, we've had some real characters in the Oval Office. Some of them have been great, and some of them have been, shall we say, not so great. But you know what? You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to pretend like these guys are some kind of saints. They're just regular dudes who happen to have a lot of power and influence. See, we're a nation of dreamers, a nation of schemers, and presidency is just one more chapter in that story. Some of us got the day off today, and it's often a good day to buy a mattress. So let's take a moment and thank all the folks who served our country as president, from the visionaries to the scoundrels and everyone in between. And let's remember that no matter who's in charge, the little guy is the one that always gets screwed. That's why we're all in this together. Happy President's Day. And if you can't be president, at least try to be a decent human being, because apparently it's almost impossible to do both. Now, my name is Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. All right, let's see. Got at least one person watching. That's cool. This light has turned itself off. That's nice. Anyway, big news today. U.S. President Joe Biden made a surprise visit to Ukraine today. Yeah, to show support for the country in its struggle against Russian aggression. The trip was not announced in advance. Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The two leaders visited a war memorial and the U.S. Embassy, with Biden signing the guest book at Mariinsky Palace. The visit's the first time a sitting U.S. president has entered a war zone where there is not an active U.S. military presence. U.S. president announced a $460 million aid package for Ukraine that includes more military equipment and more anti-tank missiles. So, yeah, this is bizarre to me. Apparently, the Biden administration has never heard of, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Like, what the hell? What the hell? This is shockingly dumb, to put the president of the United States in such a situation where something could happen where we could get dragged into World War III. They didn't learn from World War I. This is crazy to me. And if I can psychoanalyze, I think Joe Biden thinks that he's the biggest alpha dog on the planet. And he always presents himself in that way. I kind of think that's why he's always real touchy-feely with other people's wives. It's like, hey, look at me. I'm such an alpha guy. I can give your wife a back rub. You're not going to do anything about it. I'm Joe Biden. That's my amateur psychologist take on him. But this, swinging dick, let's go to Ukraine, let's go to Kyiv, and parade around is insane. If you were to balance the pros and the cons here, the pros, you get to fulfill Joe Biden's fantasy of being a tough guy. That's the only pro that I see here. And the cons, World War III, the end of civilization. So, yeah. Who thinks this is a good idea? Nobody thinks this is a good idea. It'll be interesting to see what the media says about this because I don't know how you spin this. This is so reckless. And I'm not, I'm a pretty even-keeled guy. I try not to be hyperbolic about everything, but this is literally the dumbest thing a president has done in my life. If you can think of something dumber than putting us on the brink of World War III for a photo op and to satisfy, an aging dementia patient's make-a-wish, yeah, let me know. Because I can't think of anything dumber that's been done. So congratulations, Joe Biden. Democrats, you've outdone yourself this time. Because this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. I can't think of what the Americans get out of this. Now I know what we lose in this. We lose another $460 in aid package to Ukraine. Not like we could use that here after a global pandemic. But I don't even know where they're getting this money. I think they're just inventing it out of thin air, which is causing inflation and driving down the value of the dollar that you've worked hard for and you've saved your whole life. I don't know what the benefit of this is. I'm drawing a blank. So if you can think of a good reason that Joe Biden should be walking around Kyiv, let me know in the comments. I don't think I'm going to find any answers to that, but yeah, he could have visited, I don't know, a big disaster site in Ohio and brought some aid to that community. But no, tough guy here with his Ray-Bans, with his aviators, posing with the other guy with the Napoleon complex, Zelensky. I don't even know what else to say. I don't even know what else to say. This is literally the dumbest thing I've seen a president do in my life. So I'll just leave it at that. Oh, and it gets worse. Yeah. It gets worse. Ukrainian National Security and Defense Council head Oleksiy Danilov pledged to seek justice for Russia's invasion by parking tanks on Moscow's Red Square and expelling all Russian troops from Ukraine. He called Putin Hitler's twin and warned of upcoming bloody battles in the next few months. Ukrainian defenders are preparing for a potential attack by Russia on February 24th, which could involve significant military force. I hope this is a new story, and I hope this isn't from a year ago. I think it's a new story. It could just be a repeat. Oh, my goodness. U.S. Secretary of State warned China against supplying weapons to Russia, which could cause a serious problem. And a Republican senator has also warned against China's potential support for Russia in this conflict. Now, this is nuts. This posturing, this tough guy. We're going to park Ukrainian tanks, which aren't even Ukrainian tanks. They're American tanks, old American tanks that have a Ukrainian flag painted on them. We're going to park those in Red Square because we're tough guys. We're Ukraine. we're somehow going to defeat the biggest nuclear power on Earth. Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Russia may not win this war with Ukraine, but they're not going to lose. There's a 0% chance that Ukraine is going to defeat Russia unless it goes to World War III. Unless the entire thing goes nuclear, and if that's the case, I think we got a little bit bigger problems to worry about than some tanks in Red Square. But this posturing is just, it's sick. And I am personally disgusted by anyone that supports this type of talk. You know, people are like, oh, we got to support Ukraine. We got to support Ukraine. Russia invaded them. This is such a litmus test to tell if you can look at things in a rational way, or if you just buy hook, line, and sinker a media narrative that is fed to you and you lap it up. I know the title of my channel is Coffee and Nuance, and this is not a nuanced view. But if you think what Ukraine is doing is the righteous thing, you're a sucker. You're a sucker. You've been played. That doesn't mean that I support either side in this. I'm for peace. And you need to ask yourself, who's been asking for peace talks and who's been stepping in to make sure there are no peace talks? Well, the latter of those two happen to have an American flag. Yeah. It's the Americans that are stopping all talks of peace. And that is disgusting. I don't even know what to think of what's going on over there. I am totally befuddled. I need to talk to someone that can give me a different point of view, because this just seems so insane to me. I need to be talked out of it. Perhaps I'm looking at things totally wrong, and I hope that that's the case. I hope that my point of view is just, I've looked at all of these stories wrong, and it'll become clear in the future how this is all a good thing. But I don't think that's the case at all. Oh, Jimmy Carter. Speaking of presidents, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who's 98 years old, has entered home hospice care in Plains, Georgia, according to a statement from the Carter Center. Carter served as the 39th U.S. president from 1977 to 1981 and has been an advocate for global human rights, public health, and democracy through the Carter Center. Despite health setbacks, Carter has continued his advocacy work, including trips with Habitat for Humanity to build homes and efforts to eradicate the guinea worm parasite in developing countries. Carter Center has monitored at least 113 elections worldwide and is hailed for public health efforts. So Jimmy Carter, what a good guy, and I think that history will be kinder on him than the current memes, the current thoughts about Jimmy Carter. I do think that he was a good man, or is a good man. He took one for the team when he ended his presidential career. What happened with the Iranian hostage crisis, I'm going to say right now, probably 99% of your understanding of what happened is not what happened. That was all propaganda. I should make a video on this in the near future about how that story was twisted, and what you believe is the story about what happened with those American hostages in Iran is not accurate at all. Jimmy Carter, for the good of the country, went along with it. Yeah. So he's in hospice. Hospice typically means that it's the end of your life. You don't want any more. You don't want things prolonged. And typically, when you enter hospice, it's less than 6 months to live. That is typically what they think of that. So I salute Jimmy Carter. You were a fantastic, while you may not have seemingly been the best for the country, you've done so much good since then. You know, the Carter Center monitoring 113 elections worldwide, that's awesome. And what I would really like, what would be the best, is if the Carter Center could monitor elections here. Monitor elections in the United States. Because I don't think that they would stand up to the standards that the Carter Center has for other international elections. But that's just my take on it. What the hell do I know? Okay. You probably didn't hear about this because it's not in the mainstream news at all. The Rage Against the War Machine event was the biggest anti-war demonstration in the United States since the 2003 demonstration against the Iraq War. The Libertarian and People's Party organized the march, which called for peace in Ukraine and a halt to U.S. military aid to Kyiv. A lot of good that did. Anyway, political figures such as Ron Paul, Tulsi Gabbard, and Jimmy Dore spoke at the event. The organizers demand not one more penny for war in Ukraine, dissolution of NATO, reduction of military spending, elimination of the CIA, and the release of Julian Assange. Tara Reid, one of the speakers, said, "Americans are tired of a government ignoring problems at home while giving $100 billion in aid to Ukraine." Well, it's not just $100 billion. We can tack on another. We can tack on a lot more today with what Biden just gave them. And this is something I'd encourage you to do. We had this huge anti-war protest. Huge anti-war protest. No media is covering it whatsoever. And not just on the nightly news, not just on their websites, not even their Twitter. I went through the timelines of Fox News, through the timelines of CBS and ABC and NBC, and they all tweeted hundreds of tweets since that protest. Not one of them has tweeted anything about this huge anti-war protest. And that shows you that the power, the media, has the power to alter how you view the world. Did you know about this huge anti-war protest? Now, I will say, they can't do everything right. I'm talking about the protesters. Were there people there that I would consider grifters? Yeah, a couple. Were there some people in the audience waving like Russian flags or something like that might be seen as hypocritical? Yeah. Yeah, you can't control an entire crowd. If you got a huge crowd, you could have people show up and do all kinds of nonsense. But for the most part, the speakers were good. They were speaking up against the war. And most of the people there were showing support for ending this war in Ukraine. That should be a story. And what does it tell you that it's not a story? Yeah. And, you know, I guess you're lucky because you're watching me telling you about this. But what if I weren't here? Who would you get this from? Because not many people are even discussing this huge, huge protest. And this kind of protest seems like a very American thing. Protesting your government is American. And they should at least be talking about that, or at least mentioning it. And if there's a media company that won't mention the biggest protest in 20 years, what does that tell you about them? Who's controlling them? Yeah, I think you know the answer. But now, let's get some damn good news, shall we? I need some good news. All right. For the second year in a row, the annual Western Monarch count has reported a positive rebound in the population of overwintering butterflies in California. The count revealed over 335,000 individual monarchs across 272 overwintering sites in coastal California, which is a welcome reprieve from the 2020 count of less than 2,000 individual monarchs. Conservationists remain hopeful for the future of the monarch butterfly, but have warned that managing groves to be more resilient to climate change and severe weather may help improve monarch survival and ensure there's habitat long into the future. Now, to support monarch butterflies, individuals can plant native milkweed plants or diversity of nectar plants, minimize pesticide use, call your legislators to support policies, and contribute to community science projects that track the monarchs. Well, that's a little something. Have you been to California? Been out there on like Pismo Beach? Seen all the monarchs when they return? It's really incredible thing to do. If you're on the West Coast, I invite you to be sure to do that once. Put that on your bucket list because it's incredible thing to do. That's all I have for you today. As a reminder, stick around after the outro and I will be addressing all of your comments. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Oh, and lastly, what the hell? What the hell? Let's get 50 likes on this video. I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance, right? Anyway, I look forward to you, to chatting with you in the after show. Y'all have a beautiful day. Peace. Hey, all right. All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. We got a number of people watching us on this President's Day. That's cool. Duggo is over on Rumble. Hello, what's up? Joe's Puppet Master want another world war, and he hasn't the mental capacity to refuse. That doesn't sound far off to me at all. That doesn't sound far off to me. Let's see. You know, one day when I tweet my video, it will get a ton of retweets and comments. I'm sure of it. But at this time, I did get I got 2 likes on my tweet about this live stream. So that's pretty good. 2 is better than none. So if we could get 2 likes every day I I post this on Twitter, we're moving in the right direction, because last week I don't think I had many at all, or any at all. And so lastly, let's check out what's going on here on YouTube. Let's see, lots of comments. I love seeing Flames and Coffee in the chat. That's cool. Flame on. Hey, Tom. Glad everyone's here. Yeah, Doug Christopher says, too bad that Biden won't visit Ohio. Yeah, he'll probably treat Ohio like Kamala did the southern border, which is to pretend like it doesn't exist, right? He hasn't touched my wife. Yeah, that would be a hard thing. That would be a difficult thing. I'm shocked no one's decked him. I'm shocked that no one's decked him for his handsy behavior. It is okay to be pro-Russia and Putin. I think it could be okay. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'm pro-Putin or pro-Russia. I understand what's happening over there, but I'm definitely pro-peace, and I know that Putin has called for peace talks, so I'd be in favor of that. Don't forget 10% of all donations to Ukraine go to the big guy. Well, we don't know that for sure. We don't know that all donations, that the big guy gets a cut of that. Wouldn't shock me, but we don't have evidence of that. Scapegoat again. Know their tricks. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. Miranda just got here. We'll have to watch later the first part. Well, thanks. I like the first part of my show. I like coming up with that. It's kind of fun to watch that. I agree. Carter will be remembered as better than now. How the mainstream media, mainstream history looks at him now. I was shocked. I did a little research into what I thought happened in the Iranian crisis, and it turns out pretty much everything that I thought I knew growing up about it was a fairy tale. So I'll put together a better presentation on that, because I think it's something that you should all know about. The barricade, nice. It was a protest against the war machine. Yes, I should have said that. If I didn't, I should have been more clear. It's against all war. It's against the military-industrial complex. Yes. Made it to another live stream. Keep up the great work. And then AIU. It should be pro-Russia. I don't know. Tulsi, Ron, Jimmy, etc. I wish I had been there. If I were on the East Coast, I would have been at that protest for sure. Dennis Kucinich and Jill Stein were there. What a lineup. Most of my favorites. No Ralph Nader. That was Tobias said that. I don't know, but Ralph is ancient now. That is true. Okay. Yay, Monarchs. Thanks for the good news, Tom. It's hard coming up with good news. It's hard. It's hard finding positive stories, but damn it, I feel like I need a positive story every day, and I know it's a bit forced to come up with these stories that aren't really breaking news or anything like that, but damn it, I need something positive sometimes, and hopefully you take it for what it is. This guy is really consistent. Thank you, Diet Sprite. I'm trying to be consistent. If I can't be fantastic, at least I can be consistent. That's for sure. Another great show. Thank you. Thanks, Tom. I see. I don't tweet. Yeah, a lot of us don't tweet. Honestly, I wouldn't have a Twitter if I didn't have this show. I just do it to kind of promote the show. And I am able to sometimes contact people through Twitter. A lot of people like to use Twitter for contacts. So that's the only reason I have a Twitter. I don't get it, really. It's hard for me to follow. I like things organized a little better, but that's just me. Your channel Will grow. Don't worry. Your content is strong. Thank you from D Brown 83. Fire. Love it. Amanda Vogelbaum. Maybe he's hiding a shiner beneath those Ray-Bans. Well, that would be funny. Yeah, USA has 800 military bases around the world. Yeah, I'm surprised it's only 800. I'd have to double check that. I might say that there may be more. Yes, but the United States military is everywhere. Great show, says Jesse. Fire, still watching. Devin Tracy asks, fireman. In fact, yes, I am. And he has a new video that went out last night. Really good. But yeah, Devin Tracy, AIU, is one of my favorite creators. He's on censored.tv. And he's got a fantastic show. I love it. So find him if you can. Good luck, because he's censored quite a bit. That is what the war is all about. Maybe more. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. As a remember, see, I got the stream here, the picture of the stream, because I'm streaming Monday to Friday. YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, and Twitch. Noon on Pacific, 3 on the East Coast. And so, yeah, it looks like we're at, what do we got, 18 likes so far, something like that? Man, that means the world to me, if that's true. Let's keep it rocking. Lastly, I've been pitching this. I'm going to stop pitching this because I'm almost done. I've been coming up with my first 100 videos of these short explainers. But if you have a question, like for example, I said, what is the Norwood scale? It has to do with hair loss, right? But whatever it is, what is nuance? That's a good question. If you've got a question that you want answered for a channel that will not be news-oriented, hit me up. Here's the email address, asktom@protonmail.com. People have been sending in questions to me. I do appreciate that, and I wanted the first 100 questions to come from y'all, so you can do that. That's all I got today. I hope you enjoy your day off, if you have the day off. Happy President's Day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.